Hey guys. So, last episode, we got so close. I am missing one passcode. If I get that one passcode, I'm set. I should have known there was something like this, because I think there's going to be one of those in every single game. Zero Time Dilemma had the force quit boxes. But I could only get them. I could only unlock that after I got every single other thing. After I'd gone through every route, I could go to the force quit boxes. However, sorry, I stopped my train of thought. However, this has the coffin, so I need to go through every single other route. So I need to go through hell. So, first class cabin, musical score 2, musical score 1. Let's see. Okay. Memory loss, okay. This doesn't have any other truth, does it? Doesn't look like it. Okay. Hey Snake, what's up? Okay. Let's just start from the beginning. If we start from the beginning, I think we'll figure something out. Because this room also had a key card. Or not a key card. It had this closet. This safe is locked. It's one of those dial locks. It doesn't have a key. We just need to get the dials in the right place and it'll open. Did you find anything, Seven? Nope. How about you, Snake? I also found nothing. Okay. That was enough. So I need to go through the 8 door. Okay. Fuck you, Santa.
I think I'm gonna go with door 8.
Okay, 8 it is.
Yeah.
All right then. That means,
That means
June's gotta go through
through
7.
door 7.
What?
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 If
Okay,
girl
so I don't need to
have
go through
3,
this again.
4, or there are no. In other words, you get it now.
Oh no, you're safe.
Okay, there we go. I already knew that. So... Okay. Door 8. Going through the laboratory. Hey, June. I don't think I needed to do this, but I just wanted to make sure. Alright.
Maybe pairing these two.
Okay. Yeah, I did it. I think I didn't need to do this, but it's okay. I'll probably skip it. Okay, here we go.
Oh, that worked. What?
He had hoped it would turn on, but he hadn't expected this. Okay, I don't need to do this. Lotus? Okay, she's doing Hackerman stuff.
What kind of job do you have? What are you?
I'm unemployed at the moment.
Oh,
I used to work for a cybersecurity firm, but I quit.
okay then.
Why?
Lotus blinked.
Huh? Oh, it was just something.
Okay then. She stopped typing for a moment and her
I
face
see.
fell. This is not an avenue of questioning to be pursued, Junpei realized, and quickly shut his mouth. Okay, she's back up to speed.
Oh, what are you doing now?
I'm going to try and brute force it.
Brute what?
Brute force it.
A brute force attack is... Well, the short version is that I just attack the thing head on.
Without looking up or slowing down, she began to explain.
A brute force attack is one of the simplest ways to break a cipher. It checks every possible combination until it finds the right one. For a complex cipher, it can take a very long time. I'm writing a program that would run an attack like that on its own. It's not the most elegant solution, certainly. But given the circumstances, there isn't much else I can do.
Even as she talked, her fingers never slowed or missed a key. Junpei couldn't help but feel a little odd.
No, but back to what we were talking about earlier.
What were we talking about?
The wireless display? It's kind of strange if you think about it, isn't it? How do I put it? Well, let's say you write a program that calculates an addition problem for you, all right? So
Okay.
you enter 1 plus 1.
Yes.
The screen will show you 2. See? Isn't that strange?
No? Not really.
Oh, come on now. Of course a caveman like you would think it was strange. You said so just a minute ago. You're just not getting it, are you? Who calculated 1 plus 1?
Fair enough.
The main computer, right? You said it connected to the monitor wirelessly.
Yeah, but someone who grew up in a cave wouldn't know that, right? They'd
Yeah.
probably think that this thing here, the monitor, is doing the calculating. And once they've decided that, they'll start examining this monitor. They might poke the screen or something. Ah, I see the color changes when I press it here. Then they might investigate the hardware on the inside. Oh, I see. So this wire supplies the power. Eventually, they might even cut the wires.
Oh my god.
Ah, yes. Just as I expected. When this wire is cut, no results appear.
Okay, what's the point of this?
Therefore, it must be this device which does the calculations.
Oh.
Oh.
But the truth is that, just like you said, the computer is doing the calculating. But these cave people wouldn't know that, because they have no idea that the monitor and the computer are connected wirelessly.
Lotus continued to type. Junpei scratched his
So,
head.
what are you trying to say?
Nothing, really.
Well, it's more or less that we are the monitors, and the morphogenetic field gives us the information. Even if we're killed, the information's still there.
It's just, I thought maybe. What if the relationship between human beings and our brains is like that?
Huh?
Well, let's say you stick a bunch of electrodes into parts of the brain. A scientist examining the signals they send out might say, interesting. So stimulating this part of the brain causes the person to see colors. That must mean this neuron cluster controls that function. Okay, let's see what happens when I cut out this part.
Don't cut out the part of the brain.
Ah, just what I thought. Cutting off this part causes that function to cease. Therefore, human thought processes must occur in the human brain. See? Doesn't it sound the same? Maybe the brain is just an output device, like this monitor. Maybe our thought processes actually occur somewhere else, in a main body. We just don't know it. We never even think about it. Just like those cave people wouldn't know about wireless communications, we can't imagine that there's some unknown medium that transfers information into our brains, where we experience that information as thoughts.
I am okay with... This game has given me a healthy respect for science. Even if it's pseudoscience. Some of it, anyway. I know a lot of it's actually, like, paradoxes and stuff, but it's really cool. Not so much because he didn't have any report. No, her argument just seemed silly, and he was a little surprised to be hearing something like that from someone like her.
The brain is just an output device. Human thought actually occurs somewhere else.
Also, they really took this process to the extreme in Zero Time Dilemma, with there literally being a main computer, and there actually being a robot who was the output device.
That's just crazy talk.
Did Lotus really think that, he wondered? It was a little creepy, Junpei thought. It sounded altogether too much like a bizarre cultist religion.
Maybe that's the cause of Seven's amnesia.
Oblivious to Junpei's increasing discomfort, Lotus continued.
If memory is actually stored somewhere else, in some sort of main body somewhere, maybe he hasn't forgotten anything at all. He's just having a difficult time accessing his memories because the monitor, his brain, has been damaged.
I forgot what the cult's name was, but is what they worship the shift? Or the morphogenetic field? Is that...
Huh.
Could that be it?
I suppose that would explain aphasia and blindsight, too. Perhaps they actually can speak or see. The monitor just isn't functioning properly. I guess people with prosopagnosia could be suffering from the same thing.
Wait a minute.
What's
What?
He knew what aphasia was from watching medical dramas on TV, and blindsight was easy enough to guess. But he'd never heard the word prosopagnosia. I'm not even
What?
trying.
You've never heard of prosopagnosia?
Yeah, prosopagnosia. Lotus spun around in her chair to look at him. Jimmy just shrugged and shook his head.
No. What is it?
Well, put simply, it means a condition where the mind can't distinguish between human faces.
Oh,
In other words, my face would look the same as Clover's or even yours. So they can't remember faces, which is how most people recognize each other. That means that people with prosopagnosia have trouble recognizing even people they're close to. Usually they can make do by associating people with other things. Their voices, their clothes, their hair.
Does that mean other people's faces look like blanks?
No, I don't think so. Look, you've seen monkeys, like in a zoo, right? To you and me, all the monkey faces look the same, even though they've obviously got faces. It's almost impossible for a human to distinguish between them. The zoo staff that works with them would learn to identify different monkeys eventually. But you or I couldn't, unless one had a scar or something else to set it apart.
that's true.
Well, that's how people would be to someone with prosopagnosia.
Okay, so what you're getting at is when people have prosopagnosia, that condition is where your information processes aren't accessing the main computer somewhere, so it's going haywire and not recognizing stuff.
Prosopagnosia. Huh. I didn't even know that kind of thing existed.
Junpei did his best to act as though the entire lecture hadn't gone entirely over his head.
And, what were we talking about?
The idea that your brain is just an output device, like a monitor.
Are you serious about that stuff?
Not really. I was just kidding for about half of it.
What about the other half?
Well, I guess I was just adulting.
Adult, you're 40.
Not funny.
Lotus's smile had something rather masochistic to it.
It's nothing more than a story I made up out of boredom. Don't take it seriously. It was the first thing that came to mind, and I just talked about it to kill time.
All right.
But looks like I don't need to talk anymore.
Why?
I don't have to kill time any longer.
Fair enough. As she spoke, Lotus raised her right arm high and brought it down on the enter key.
Oh, then you finished that brute whatever thing?
Brute force.
I certainly did. And let's see what we got.
Chunks of text flickered on and off in quick succession, and the line of numbers appeared, blinked, and disappeared. The screen cleared, and all that was left was the word accepted.
Piece of cake.
Lotus would certainly have patted herself on the back if it had not been made her look entirely ridiculous. After a few seconds, the accepted disappeared to be replaced with 9 squares arranged in a 3x3
The
square.
screen changed again. What the hell is that?
No idea. Looks like a puzzle.
Suddenly, Lotus stood up.
Huh? Aren't you gonna, I don't know, do more computer stuff?
No, I can't do anymore. It won't let me do any more programming. See? The keyboard. Nothing. So, there's nothing more I can do. Well, I guess I'll leave this to you then, Junpei.
Thank you.
What?
Let me take a break, all right? I did my part.
Well,
He wasn't sure what to say about that. She certainly had done her part. In fact, without Lotus, they probably would have run completely aground. He shouldn't rely on other people so much, Junpei thought to himself.
I guess you're right. Thanks, Lotus.
No problem. And make sure you know.
Okay, I can skip that. Alright, now for the locker. Okay, so I learned a lot of stuff in that 13 minutes. Okay. It was just at that moment that he heard a voice behind him. It was Clover. What's up?
I wanted to ask you something.
Okay.
Junpei, you went into door 5 with my brother, right?
Yes.
Did you hear him say, like, anything weird?
Huh?
Why is she asking me this, Junpei wondered. The more he thought about it, the more it made sense. Snake had been gone for a long time. Clover was quite attached to her brother. Of course she would have been worried about him.
Well, let me think.
He thought back to when he'd gone through door 5, hoping he might remember something, even a small something that would help her. However,
Sorry, Clover. I can't really think of anything. I mean, he did mention that his hearing exceeds that of a regular person, or something like that, but that's about it.
Okay.
Clover's words were barely audible. She nodded vaguely to Junpei and turned to walk away.
Hey, wait a minute. Look, I don't know if I should ask you things, but if you don't mind, I was hoping you could tell me if... Is Snake, was he born...
Was he born? Was he born
You're
blind?
talking about his eyes?
Yeah.
No, he wasn't born blind. When he was a kid, he got in an accident.
Oh.
A really bad car accident.
Oh.
He couldn't see after that. And his arm.
His arm?
Yeah.
Oh.
My brother's left arm is, it's not like a normal person's arm. It's fake. It's not a real arm.
So that's why she knew he wasn't alive, or that's why she knew he. Okay, let me say it again, real fast. Let me calm down. That's how she knew that the body in the shower room was not his.
The accident hurt him really bad. To save him, they had to cut off his arm.
Is that why his bracelet's on his right hand?
Oh.
Is that all you wanted to ask me?
Actually, no, it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't even matter which arm it is. Talking about a brother had clearly taken a great deal out
Look,
of Clover.
I'm sorry for making you talk about all that painful stuff.
It's not that.
Clover only shook her head and walked off down the stairs. Okay, then. Alright, so where do we go now? I go to the engine room. Handle.
I believe the
Okay. There's a lot of stuff I need to think about in this game. They stood there for a few more minutes, no one speaking, until Santa turned and walked away from the winch. Junpei and Ace followed him. Okay.
You know, speaking of experiments,
Oh. Santa suddenly stopped.
there was this experiment some scientists did with rats. First, they took a squarish C-shaped tank and filled it with enough water that the rats could drown in it. The tank has 2 exits. Just to make it easy, we'll call one A and the other B. Exit A is pitch black, so dark even a rat can't see anything. But exit B is electrified, which means the rat can't leave through it. So, what would a rat do if it was put in this situation? Which exit would the rat choose?
There was a moment of silence after Santa posed the question, then Ace responded.
B, of course. The rat has no way of knowing that exit B is electrified.
Exactly. The rat goes to exit B.
And
Of
dies.
course, like I said, it's electrified.
If it was electrified and then filled with water, they'd die anyway.
Which means the rat can't get out that way. So, after a lot of trial and error, the rat finally finds exit A.
I can't say that's very interesting or relevant. It's simply the story of a laboratory experiment.
You're right. It isn't very interesting. Yet.
Ooh.
See, these scientists repeated this experiment over and over, using hundreds of different rats over several generations. This produced some surprising results. With each generation, the rats took less time to find the correct exit. Eventually, a rat was put in the tank who instantly chose exit A without even attempting to go to exit B.
Because the information was saying, hey, don't go to exit B, dumbass, go to A.
But that wasn't the most impressive part. The same experiment was conducted in another laboratory, far from the original one, with the same results. No, on second thought, the results weren't really the same. The rats in this second experiment began the trials with significantly faster times than the first rats in the initial one. These rats weren't related to the others and had never even come in contact with them. And yet, they all easily found their way to exit A as though they already knew. What did it mean?
Are you suggesting something like telepathy? They were passing information to one another through some undetectable medium?
I love this game.
How the hell would I know? I'm not any kind of scientist. I don't know what made him do that.
Then why bring it up?
But I do know that story's true. And if you've got another explanation, I'd sure love to hear it. Come on, let's get going. There's still a lot here we haven't checked out. And we gotta get the hell out of here before June passes out.
Correct. Without waiting for a response, he turned around and started walking. Junpei, however, wasn't quite ready to leave the topic alone.
Hey, wait. There's something I want to ask you.
What?
Santa stopped and turned around.
Why did they use that tank for the experiment?
Huh?
Well, I mean, it seems like you could conduct the same experiment without the water. They could have just used a dry box, you know? If they needed to motivate the rats to escape, they could have, I don't know, put some bait by exit B or something. I mean, do they really have to make it so the rats can drown?
danger, and epiphany. Santa gave a grim bark of a laugh.
You know, the word emergency comes from the same root as the word emerge. You ever think about that?
Huh?
Well, an emergency is something urgent, often something dangerous. And to emerge means to sort of come out, or appear, or rise out of something else.
Okay.
So what's going to emerge in an emergency? Inspiration.
Or epiphany.
Inspiration?
Yeah. Think about it. When the chips are down, either you crack or your mind focuses and pulls up what you need.
So in an emergency, your real potential emerges. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. That's why the rats had to drown. They had to be in danger. There had to be an emergency for inspiration to emerge.
Oh.
Okay. Junpei suddenly felt cold. The back of his head was aching and his stomach felt strange. They put us in The motive of the Nonary game is becoming known. Here we go. Cargo room. The 9 photos. Let's see.
Now we finally have all 9 picture cards.
Yes. Just then, Junpei heard a noise. He spun around just in time to see June collapse in front of the fence.
Hey! June, are you okay?
She didn't respond. Junpei spun back to face Ace.
I'm sorry, I gotta go check on her. You finish the box thing, alright? Just put the cards in the boxes. I'm counting on you.
He shoved the cards into Ace's hands and ran off towards June.
Are you alright? What happened?
Junpei called out to her as he ran.
Can you stand?
As he arrived, June was climbing to her feet with Santa's help.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm fine.
I don't think you are.
I just tripped.
Don't give me that. Now is not the time.
But it's true. I tripped over a box.
Just let me see for a sec.
Junpei put his palm on her forehead.
Huh.
You're still warm.
Her temperature was much the same as it had been the last time he checked. She wasn't hot. I mean, she was, but like she had been before, but she was still warm. Her fever wasn't completely gone.
I saw her fall. I think she really did just trip on something, you know?
Junpei would have been more willing to agree if June hadn't needed quite so much help standing up.
Still, to fall down like that, I think she's probably still a little messed up.
June was doing her best to busy herself brushing dust off her dress to ignore the 2 guys arguing over her safety. Her smile looked a little embarrassed and her face was a bit flushed, but she did look a great deal better than she had. Still...
Alright, well, let's just get out of here as fast as we can so we can get you to a hospital.
Oh, I don't think it's anything that serious. I just need a little medicine and some sleep, and I'll be fine.
Medicine. Medicine, huh? Well, if we could get in touch with anyone outside, I'll bet Ace could swing that for you easy.
What?
Ace? Why?
Huh? Don't you know? He's the president of a pharmaceutical company.
Fucking what? Did you just say? What did you just say?
Cradle Pharmaceuticals is the name, I think.
What? He is the president of Cradle Pharmaceuticals. This provides me with information I didn't know I needed. Okay.
Their flagship product is an anesthetic drug called Soparil.
Soparil. Soparil? I've heard of that before somewhere.
Junpei couldn't shake the feeling that he'd heard about Soparil before. Santa continued.
Soparil. It's an anesthetic that's a gas at room temperature. A lot like how nitrous oxide is. It takes only a few seconds to spread, and even a small amount is very effective. A bunch of countries quickly accepted it for widespread use within their police and military forces.
Wait, when we all got kidnapped, they used Soparil gas to knock us out.
It was an effective crowd suppressant and room clearer. It was practical, ethical, and the humane nature of it made it the ideal drug. It's been around for about 6 years. They developed it from the extracts of several different roots. It became popular almost as soon as it was made public, with many governments placing large orders.
Okay.
Demand for Soparil skyrocketed, and of course that meant Cradle Pharmaceuticals' stock did too.
Why do you know all of this?
Because he's a stockbroker. Santa's information was interesting, but Junpei couldn't help but feel a little suspicious. Santa's reply was blunt and simple.
I heard it from the old man himself.
From Ace? When?
By the number 4 door at the central stairway, when we were searching the second-class room. Remember how Snake, 7, and you went to door 5? It was back then. I asked him what he did for a living, and he said he ran his own company. After that, we just started talking, and I guess it just came up, you know?
Huh.
Are you worried about something?
No, nothing.
As he spoke, Junpei looked over towards Ace. He's the president of Cradle Pharmaceuticals, but he cannot open this fucking thing. He seemed to be having difficulty with the 9 boxes.
What the hell is he doing?
He turned back to June and Santa.
June, don't push yourself, all right?
Yes.
Santa, could you take care of her? I'll go check on Ace. Looks like he's having trouble.
Sure.
He gave them both a short nod, then turned and headed toward Ace.
What are you doing?
Ace's back was to him as Junpei approached. The older man turned around to look at him. His face was pale and covered in sweat.
What happened?
Nothing. My vision has gotten rather blurry, I think, because of fatigue. I can't see very well at the moment.
What can't you see well?
These pictures.
Ace held the cards out to Junpei, splayed out in the shape of a fan.
I don't care to admit it, but I may be developing presbyopia.
Oh, so you can't remember faces.
Growing old is a difficult thing.
He made the best attempt he could at a self-deprecating smile, but his face was flushed and his lips pale and drawn.
At any rate, I'll leave the rest to you. I'm feeling awfully tired, so if you don't mind, I'd like to rest for a bit.
He shoved the cards into Junpei's hands and walked quickly away. Junpei looked at him quizzically.
How could simply looking at cards have tired him out?
Junpei looked down at the cards in his hands. All of the pictures were quite clear and each person easily recognizable. Was Ace's vision truly so bad?
But if it wasn't, what had made him so uncomfortable?
Ace knows. Ace knows everything. That was when Junpei remembered what he'd heard from Lotus much earlier.
Prosopagnosia. Well, put simply, in
Okay,
other words,
yes.
so they can't. That means
Maybe he's got prosopagnosia?
Oh. Junpei took another look at Ace. He sat at the base of the stairs looking quite depressed.
Well, he looks depressed enough to have it.
If he really did have prosopagnosia, there was no doubt it was a depressing and painful experience. Still, Junpei didn't feel like patting him on the shoulder and telling him everything would be alright would help that much. Still, Junpei felt perhaps it was best he keep Ace's condition to himself, at least for the time being.
Oh well.
Doing his best to clear his mind for the task at hand, he turned back toward the boxes.
Time to solve the 9 boxes puzzle.
9 cards, 9 pictures, 9 boxes.
Ace's card is in box 1.
Yes. Okay, we have the pins. Alright. Alright. Here we go. The moment of truth. Clover's gone. Oh yeah, this is when Clover went missing. Junpei and June ran to the large hospital room together. As quickly as they could, they searched around and uttered the beds and in the corners.
She's not here.
No, she isn't.
All right, just in case, we should go take a look in the shower room.
Shower room?
That's where her brother is. She might have gone to see him.
June bit her lip. She knew as Junpei did that there was only one thing to see in the shower room and it wasn't pleasant.
Well, we might as well check, right? Let's go.
There was a screwdriver stuck in the door in the frame.
Good. We can still get in.
We should thank Seven later.
Junpei and June slipped through the door and moved down the hallway and stepped into the shower room.
No luck.
Yeah, I don't think she's here.
June's voice was faint and she placed her hands over her mouth. She looked a little
The
green.
smell is horrible.
The stench in the room was almost unbearable. It had grown far more unpleasant since our last visit. If Junpei had eaten lunch, he would have difficulty retaining it. He wanted to leave the room as soon as possible, but he had to be sure, and the only way to be sure was to check the other side of the divider.
Let's check the back, just to be sure.
June offered no resistance and nodded weakly to Junpei as he headed for the divider. He stopped at the corner and turned his head.
No, she's not here.
As he'd expected, Clover was nowhere to be seen. The only thing on the other side of the divider was a dead body lying in reddish-brown puddle of dry and drying blood.
Snake, just where did your sister go?
Junpei whispered to what was once Snake. He'd asked rhetorically, of course, so there was no way he'd get an answer. He gave a deep sigh.
Such a horrible way to go. The skull shattered, the left arm's hideously twisted.
But I already know that's wrong.
Wait,
The bright white of the ulna was clearly visible through the remains of skin and muscle. Bright white. Ulna.
bones.
The pieces fell into place. Junpei remembered something Clover told him in the laboratory.
My brother's left arm is, it's not like a normal person's arm.
Holy shit.
The accident hurt him really bad.
Of course. Of course. Why didn't I realize it earlier?
Clover had told Junpei that Snake's left arm was prosthetic. But the left arm was corpse was behind the divider was quite clearly a real human arm, or at least it had been once. That meant the corpse.
Jumpy?
June's unsure voice at Junpei's suddenly strange behavior drew his attention back to her.
Sorry for making you wait. Let's go.
I had to find Clover and make sure she doesn't fucking kill anyone. Junpei and June headed back towards the large hospital room. They stepped through the door and out of the shower room. Down the hallway they went, searching for Clover in every corner. They'd reached the stairs when Seven appeared, breathless and yelling.
Junpei! June! Where were you guys?
He looked pale and his face was drawn. Something terrible had happened. Junpei's breath caught in his throat.
Did something happen?
Seven drew a shaking hand across his face and gulped down a breath of air.
Clover is dead.
What?
I found her in the first-class bathroom.
Wait. If she had killed herself... No, I don't think she killed herself. All sound ceased for Junpei. The world was an empty, muffled expanse. Then he began to hear his own breathing. June's mouth moved, but he heard nothing. She tried once more, and then her energy was gone as she collapsed against the wall. He could have helped her, but he hadn't, and now she was dead. So he stood there, frozen in place.
Clover. Clover. Why? Why did this happen?
He forced his body to move. Each step felt like another nail pounded into his heart. Finally, he was in front of her. He knelt and placed 3 fingers against Clover's neck. No pulse, no breath. But she was still warm and her eyes were closed peacefully. It would have been easy to think she was asleep. Easy, that is, if it were not for the slowly expanding puddle of blood beneath her. He traced his source to her back, a gash just beneath her shoulder blade. Okay, so it wasn't Clover. Was the weapon a knife, perhaps? If it was a knife, the killer had taken it when they left. When he closed his eyes, he saw Clover smile.
Clover.
Her innocent smile, her energy. He would never see her smile again.
No way.
He could have done something. He could have helped her. His stomach twisted itself into a sickening knot.
Let's get out of here, June.
Junpei lifted the limp June from the floor and carried her from the bathroom.
Are you all right?
It was a foolish question, and he knew it.
Yes, I think so.
Her voice was weak. The fever had gone down, but the emotional scars she'd received were not likely to recede as quickly. Junpei laid his hand on her shoulder, and they walked back to the bedroom.
You should get some rest. Here, the bed. Can you sit?
Yes.
She nodded once and stared at the floor. There were 4 others in the room. Ace, Lotus, Santa, and Seven. They all stared at nothing, their faces drawn and tired. After a while, they drifted into the bathroom to see Clover's corpse themselves. Once everyone was back in the bedroom, Junpei walked slowly to the center of it and looked around as the slumped figures gathered there.
Who was the first to find the body?
Me.
Seven spoke from behind Junpei. He turned around. Seven's hand was up.
Why did you come to this room?
To look for Clover. Why else? I found her body in the bathroom. As soon as I did, I ran outside. I got to the top of the stairs by the casino and yelled as loud as I could. Hey, guys! I found her, but it's bad!
That's not as loud as you can, but I'm not gonna
She's
get
in
mad
the
at you.
bathroom in the first-class cabin! Come quick! Or something like that. Then I went back to the bathroom. Ace, Santa, and Lotus showed up real soon after that. But I guess you two hadn't heard me or something because you didn't show. So I took off down the stairs to look for you. After that, I mean, you know the rest, right?
Junpei nodded and closed his eyes. There was one more thing he needed to ask.
Seven. There's one more thing I'm worried about.
What?
You stuck one of those plates in between the door and the frame, right? Why did you do that?
Come on, didn't I already tell you that? I did it so that the door wouldn't lock. So we could come back to this room? Oh. You think I did it?
Well, I don't know. That kind of depends on what you say, doesn't it?
For crying out loud.
Seven sighed and shook his head.
Follow me.
I don't think in any other timeline, Clover didn't die. I think Clover was the main one killing people. No, she only killed people in one. So then who killed her? There were two doors standing next to one another. He opened the one on the right.
A closet?
Yeah.
Seven stepped inside. He stood in front of one of the shelves that filled it and gestured toward the small box. The box was a small metal cube. He looked at Junpei.
This is the reason. This safe. We couldn't open it when we were getting through this room. I figured there might be something pretty important in it. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I figured eventually we might figure out what the numbers are for the safe.
Yeah.
And if we did, I didn't want to screw around with door 5 again. So I put the plate in the exit door so we could get back in that way. You get it now?
I do. I understand. I knew what you were thinking of before.
Yeah.
Junpei nodded and looked at the safe. He grabbed the handle and shook it.
Figured it wouldn't open.
It was as locked as it had been when Seven found it. There was one small change, however.
This is...
Just underneath the safe was a pile of fine reddish-brown powder.
rust.
Junpei stared at it, considering.
If there's rust here, that means... Has someone opened the safe?
Junpei left the closet. So, this is when someone came in and opened the safe and took what was ever inside. So I have to go back to that room, open the safe myself, then leap back to the coffin ending, and then I'll be good. Seven followed him back to the bedroom.
Huh?
It was cold and quiet. No one spoke. They sat frozen in place by shock and grief and fatigue. The room felt tiny and oppressive, and the thick metallic smell of blood filled the room. Junpei turned and headed for the living room. Anything to get out of there.
Maybe there's another clue.
Wait, there's a note on the
Anything
table.
that might lead us to discover who stabbed Clover.
Why is there a note on the table? As quickly as they could, they searched around and under the beds and in the corners. His eyes caught on the door. The door that led to the passageway of door number 5.
Behind this door. The ninth man's body is behind there. Maybe I should have another look at it, just in case.
Quietly, he pushed open the door.
Ugh.
The smell hit him like a blow to the face.
Oh, the hell. This smell is...
His lungs contracted, unwilling to inhale such fetid air. Acid boiled from the base of his stomach, churning what little food there was into a violent froth. It was too much for him, and he vomited. A thin stream of yellow water and bile splattered on the floor. He wiped his mouth weakly and stared at the dead body. Chunks of torn flesh lay in an arc around the body. What remained of its intestines had slid out onto the floor. The pool of blood that framed it was half dry, but so thick that it had taken on a texture not unlike that of an egg yolk prepared sunny side up. On the floor next to the broken mass of the man's head lay his glasses, cracks spidering across the lenses. The blood stains near them had already dried like scabs on the floor.
Wait.
That was when he noticed.
It's gone. His bracelet. It's gone. It was right next to the glasses.
But now, it was gone. The number 9 bracelet was gone.
But why?
Had someone taken it? He was turning it over and over in his mind when he heard Seven's voice.
Where'd Junpei go?
It drifted out to him from the living room. Junpei walked slowly out of the hallway.
Oh, there you are. Were you looking for something in the hallway?
Seven looked up at Junpei
Yeah.
Seven looked up as Junpei entered the room.
Did you find something?
He thought for a moment before he responded.
No, nothing.
Technically, it wasn't a lie. He hadn't found anything. In a way, in fact, that was the problem. Something he'd expected to find hadn't been there. The 9th man's bracelet.
What's up?
Well, I wanted you to take a look at something.
Okay.
What is it?
Seven led Junpei back to the bathroom.
Clover.
As Clover's corpse came into view, he felt his heart flip and then fall to the bottom of his stomach. Something between a sigh and a groan escaped his lips.
What was it you wanted to show me?
His voice was hollow and empty.
I searched Clover's body again. A real shame. She was stabbed once in the back, probably by a knife or something. And I found this.
As he spoke, he moved around Clover's head, then knelt down and flipped open her right hand.
What?
She was holding a piece of paper.
I haven't actually looked at it yet. Didn't want to disturb the crime scene, you know? Well, I did borrow one thing.
What?
He wasn't sure what that meant, but it likely didn't matter. The paper was more important.
I'm opening it.
He picked it up and carefully opened it. There were 2 sentences written on it.
Truth had gone, and truth had gone. Ah, now truth is asleep in the darkness of the sinister hand.
Sinister hand.
What is this? Some kind of secret code?
Truth is asleep in the darkness of the sinister hand. So it's in the coffin. Truth had gone, and truth had gone. Clover, Snake, and the 9th man. Those were the 3 people who've died. So they all held the keys to this shit. Seven peered over Junpei's shoulder at the note. Junpei stepped away from Clover's body and into the living room. He began to pace, attempting to decode the note.
A code.
The first clue was likely the phrase sinister hand. Sinister hand means the left hand.
Sinister was a term used in heraldry that meant to the left of the bearer of a coat of arms. The left hand. The left hand. What does the left hand mean?
I forget what the cult's name is. Junpei looked at his own left arm, at the bracelet on his left wrist.
Does the darkness of the sinister hand have something to do with the bracelet?
He examined the bracelet closely.
There's 2 things sticking out on either side of the face. The left and right sides of the face. Left and right. Left and right. Right and left. Truth is gone. Truth gone.
Truth, gone. Maybe those 2 words. What about reading the sentence around?
How about switching the sentence around? Gone had truth. Well, that makes even less sense. Clearly,
Okay.
switching the words isn't going to help.
Okay, time for a different idea. How about reading it aloud?
Maybe there's something about how they sound out loud. Truth. Gone. Nope. They sounded the same in my head.
Alright. Okay, how about reading them backwards? I'm just gonna do everything.
How about reading them backwards? Gone and truth. Enog and Hittert.
Yeah, I didn't think anything of
What
that.
am I saying? Those aren't
Okay.
even words. It wasn't a bad idea, though.
It wasn't. Truth, gone. Those 2 words. What else could gone and truth mean?
What else could gone and truth mean? Truth, of course, means something that is correct, something that's fact. In other words, something that is right.
True or right?
You could then safely assume that gone means left.
Right had left. Right had left. Right had left. And now, right is asleep in the darkness of the
After
sinister
all,
hand.
after someone left, they were gone. But in this case, they clearly refer to their directional homonyms. Then truth equals right, and gone equals left.
Okay, hold up. So, could it be 924 for the combination safe? Because that's 924, and that's the order in which people died. Should we look at the bracelet again?
The left and right of the bracelet. These two things sticking out. So if I...
Press them in the following order. Right head left. Right, left, right, left, right, left. Right, left, right, left, right, left. And then 1 4 3 8 3 4 2 1. One after number, 8 numbers flashed on, then off of the face of Junpei's bracelet.
Wait, did it just...
He checked one more time to be sure. 1 4 3 8 3 4 2 1.
1 4 3 8 3 4 2 1.
I'm going to write that down because that is some game-changing shit. 1 4 3 8 3 4 2 1. That's 4. Okay.
Hey, what are those numbers?
Jimmy didn't answer. He couldn't answer. He had no idea what they were either. Besides, he wasn't sure. He was sure he'd forget the numbers and the order they came in if he said
1
anything.
4 3 8 3 4 2 1.
Muttering the numbers to himself over and over, Junpei headed toward the bedroom.
1 4 3 8 3 4 2 1. 1 4 3 8 3 4 2 1. 1 4 3 8 3 4 2 1. 1 4 3 8 3 4 2 1.
Before long, he found himself in front of the safe again. It was locked was the only device he could think of that required a sense of numbers such as the one he just discovered. Besides, someone had opened the safe at least once already. Had Clover come to the bedroom to open it? Junpei slowly dialed in the numbers the bracelet had given him.
1 to the right, 4 to the left, and... Oh,
Finished.
bingo. I knew it was for this.
A small telltale sound of a lock opening. He grabbed the handle, took a deep breath, and pulled it up.
Oh, is this some sort of note?
Inside was a piece of paper. It was roughly the same size as the one Clover had been holding.
Let's see.
Junpei picked it up. This is what it said. Fact 1. The Nonary game was played once before 9 years ago. Fact 2. The person with the number 2 bracelet attended the game 9 years ago. Fact 3. It was planned by the following 4 people. Cradle Pharmaceuticals CEO, Gentaro Hongo. Oh, that's Ace's real name. Cradle Pharmaceuticals Chief of Staff, Nagisa Nijisaki. Cradle Pharmaceuticals R&D Supervisor, Teruaki Kubota. Majority shareholder in Cradle Pharmaceuticals, Kagechika Musashido. I must punish them for the innocent lives they sacrificed. This is the only warning they will receive. That innocent souls may be saved. I now state the truth. 0. So Zero's ultimate goal is to punish the 4 people who had anything to do with this. So I didn't recognize 2 of the names, but Chief Shareholder, Santa, CEO, Ace. So who are the other 2? There were 5 people waiting for him in the bedroom. Ace, Lotus, Santa, 7, and June. He looked at each one of them in turn and slowly placed his hand in the pockets of his vest.
Sorry, but do you think you could all come with me?
Come with you.
I want all of you to go to the big hospital room.
Why?
There's something I want to be sure of.
What do you want to be sure of?
I want to know if the person I suspect is really the culprit.
Wait, then you're saying...
Yeah, I think I've got it figured out. I know who killed Snake and Clover.
Oh. The atmosphere in the room changed. Grief was suddenly gone, replaced by tension like a strap of leather stretched to his limit. 5 sets of eyes stared at Junpei. He pretended not to notice.
Anyway, if you could all please move to the big hospital room. I'll explain everything as soon as we get there.
Then, almost as on cue, the bell began to ring. They all heard it. It was the bell from the clock in the main staircase. It's 5 o'clock. The bell rang 5 times and ceased.
It's 5 o'clock.
We've only got an hour
We
left.
don't have a lot of time left. Let's go.
Slowly, one by one, they followed Junpei out of the bedroom.
Actually, before we get started, I was hoping you could do something for me.
Junpei stopped in front of the door 3.
Ace,
And turn
7,
around.
and Lotus, could you please place your palms on the red?
Ace, 7, Lotus, 8. Plus 8 is 16, so 7.
Huh?
Why? If we need to get to the shower room, why don't we just...
No, we're not going inside. Once you've authenticated, step away from the door.
Why?
Please, just do it. Or perhaps you don't want to know who killed Snake and Clover.
Junpei's implication was clear and 7 understood perfectly.
Fine.
What about you, Ace? Lotus?
Very well.
Sure.
Okay, so that's 8, 7, and 1. That's 8 plus 8, 16. 1 plus 6 is 7. Once they had finished, they stepped away from the door as Junpei had instructed. 3 asterisks shone from the red's display
I
panel.
have this idea. I don't think this device responds to a hand placed on it. It instead reacts to a bracelet being brought close. You don't actually need a hand.
Junpei approached it and held his bracelet over the scanner. He made quite sure he didn't place his palm on it, and instead only brought his bracelet near it. The 4th asterisk appeared,
I knew it.
just as Junpei had expected. It was possible to authenticate without placing one's palm on the red, so long as the bracelet was brought near it. Junpei pulled the lever down. Door 3 opened like a hungry mouth. 9 long seconds passed, and then it closed again. So, Junpei walked slowly back to the others, who were waiting some distance from the door, talking to one another. Santa and June had joined them as well.
Huh?
It looked as though they hadn't found a chance to break into the conversation yet. As Junpei approached, they turned to look at him, curiosity plain on their face. Before long, the other 3 did as well.
What was that about?
How should I know?
Ace didn't say anything. Clearly, they were all expecting
Thanks.
some
I
answers.
appreciate your cooperation.
Clearly, they'd hoped for something more forthcoming. He continued.
By the way, Ace, would you mind if I asked you something?
What is it?
Do you know who I am?
What?
What? What kind of question?
Just answer it, please.
You're Junpei, of course. Who else would you be?
Unfortunately, that's the wrong answer.
What?
Actually, I'm Santa.
Wait a fucking second.
What?
Ace's voice. That was. What? What? Wait, that was what it was said at the end of the last. What the fuck? Ace's voice was full of surprise, but it was also tinged with confusion and fear. Everyone else looked nearly as surprised. Santa looked especially shocked to discover he was actually someone else. If he spoke, however, the trap would be exposed. Junpei quickly continued.
The clothes I'm wearing, I borrowed from Junpei. And the clothes he's wearing are mine. We had a little swap.
That's ridiculous. Impossible.
So, you're saying I'm not Santa?
Of course you aren't.
Why? What makes you so sure I'm not Santa?
If you were Santa, then door 3 wouldn't have opened for us just now. 1 plus 7 plus 8 plus 3 equals 19. 1 plus 9 would be 10. The digital route would be 1. But the 4 of us just opened door 3. You can't possibly be Santa. Your bracelet number isn't 3.
It's 5, right?
It's 5. Only then, when it was too late, did Ace realize his mistake. He set his jaw and glared at Junpei.
You're exactly right. My bracelet number is 5.
As he spoke, Junpei lifted his wrist to show everyone the bright red 5 on his wrist.
Sorry, Ace. I tricked you. Of course, I'm not really Santa. I'm Junpei. Who could possibly think I was? It's obvious I'm not. To think I was? Ridiculous. But I guess you couldn't see just how obvious it was.
Oh.
I asked you before, didn't I? What makes you so sure I'm not Santa? And you answered. If you were Santa, then door 3 wouldn't have opened for us just now. Most
Oh.
people wouldn't say something like that. The first thing that would come to anyone else's mind wouldn't be the bracelet number. There'd only be one thing they'd say. One sentence. You don't have his face. Ace, you have prosopagnosia, am I right?
Junpei's voice was quiet and calm. He knew the truth. So did Ace.
Prosopagnosia?
The others looked up confused.
What's that?
No clue.
Prosopagnosia is.
He heard Lotus begin to explain it to them. Ace glanced at them and turned back towards Junpei and sighed.
Very well. I confess. I have prosopagnosia. I cannot differentiate human faces. Is that what this was about? You want to mock me for my disorder?
Yes.
No, not at all. I'm not making fun of you at all. In fact, I feel kind of bad for you. No, the reason I brought this up is that there's an excellent chance the person who killed Snake has prosopagnosia.
What? Ace's face tightened. His eyes narrowed.
What do you mean?
Junpei leaned casually against the iron piping of one of the beds.
I'll just come right out with it. I think it was you, Ace. You killed him.
Fucking called it. Episode what, 10? I fucking called it. Junpei was suddenly very aware of 5 pairs of eyes on him. He had their undivided attention now. The room had grown very, very quiet. Junpei took a deep breath.
That's ridiculous. What possible evidence do you...
I have 3 pieces of evidence. The first, think back to a few hours ago. You made us argue over the 3 doors here in the big hospital room. There was no way all 7 people could go through them. Lotus suggested that we sacrifice one of us.
Lotus looked away awkwardly. Junpei glanced at her and continued.
Then you, Ace, said, I'll stay here. Why would you say something like that? It's pretty simple, really. You didn't want us to see the dead body in the shower room. You see, if Ace stayed behind, there were only 2 doors the rest of us could go through. Doors 7 and 8. There was no way we could get through door 3, the shower room.
Unless we brute forced our way through with 7, Santa, and June.
You knew that, didn't you, Ace? That's why you volunteered to stay behind.
Come on now. I think that's going a bit far.
Nonsense.
I can understand if you're jealous of my bravery, but please don't devalue my actions.
I always devalue everyone's actions.
I only wanted to save the rest of you. Surely you can understand my altruism.
Altruism, huh?
Junpei stared off into the darkness at something very interesting and lazily began to dig a persistent bit of wax out of his ear.
You already knew, didn't you? You knew that whichever doors we took, eventually we'd end up back in the big hospital room.
What on earth are you saying? Of course I didn't know that. How could I have?
Really?
Yes.
Bleeding was not something they heard from Vase before. Junpei pulled the piece of wax from his ear, glanced at it, and flicked it off into the darkness.
Oh well, that's cool. I've still got 2 more pieces of evidence that say you're the killer. The second is that, as I said earlier, you have prosopagnosia.
Then you mean to imply that a person who can't distinguish human faces must be a bad person?
No.
Junpei, they call that prejudice.
No, I am not that stupid.
Then why?
Well, I mean, you are the one who confused, well, actually, no, that means you have a high intelligence if you confused the dog picture with the Funya Rimpa. Blessed be his name.
Well, before I explain, I suppose there's something I should tell you. The corpse in the shower room. It's not Snake's.
What?
Now, this is some coming home shit. You're getting completely fucked, Ace. I knew it. Ace's face went pale. The others looked confused as well. The body wasn't
I
Snake's.
didn't put it together right away, but there was something Clover told me. She said that Snake's left arm was prosthetic. He'd lost his real arm in an accident. But the body we saw in the shower room, let's call him Guy X. Guy X's left arm was definitely flesh and blood. In other words, Guy X couldn't possibly have been Snake.
Exactly.
Oh God. No. That's impossible.
Ace started muttering deliriously to himself, shaking his head back and forth. Junpei was long past caring.
Let's say, hypothetically, that the killer didn't have prosopagnosia. If that were the case, he would immediately realize that Guy X wasn't Snake. Even if the clothes were the same as Snake's, their faces would be completely different. It would have been obvious they were different people. And yet, they still killed him. Why? Why would they kill a stranger who'd only just shown up? On the other hand, if the killer did have prosopagnosia, it makes sense.
Yeah.
They thought Guy X was Snake and killed him.
Wait. Wait just a moment. Let's say you're right, and I mistook Guy X for Snake. Even if I did, I would have had no motive to kill him. Why would I want to kill Snake?
Because you recognized him. No, if he has prosopagnosia, he wouldn't have recognized him. Never mind.
I can think of at least 2 motives. 1, Snake knew about your past.
Never mind.
If he ever revealed what he knew, that would have been really bad for you. You really didn't want that to happen. So to make sure Snake's mouth stayed shut, you killed him. 2, Snake had a grudge against you. You knew that, or at least you could have easily assumed he did. Even without exposing your identity, he was a threat to you. You never knew when you might be attacked. You couldn't ever let your guard down. Every moment was a moment he might try something. You didn't want that kind of danger hanging over you. So you...
Hey, hold on a minute.
Oh, okay. Here he comes. For the first time since the beginning of Junpei's explanation, someone besides Ace spoke.
What's the past that Ace wouldn't want us to know? Why did Snake have a grudge against him?
Look at this.
Paper from the safe. He handed Santa a small piece of paper.
What's this piece of paper?
Santa squinted at the paper and began to read.
The Nonary game was played once before 9 years ago. The person with the number 2 bracelet attended the game 9 years ago. It was planned by the following 4 people. Cradle Pharmaceuticals CEO Gentaro Hongo. What is this?
Slowly, Santa looked up from the paper. His eyes met Junpei's.
It's the message from Zero. It was in the safe in the first class cabin.
Then suddenly...
Give me a break!
Oh! Ace's face went red and shaking. His voice was full of fury tinged with
That
desperation.
paper is a lie! Someone is trying to frame me!
Me. You said me, right?
Junpei's eyes narrowed and the trap began to close. Ace inhaled sharply. His eyes flicked off of Junpei to something, anything else.
Wouldn't that mean you're admitting you're Hongo, the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceuticals? Or am I mistaken?
It was as though a switch had been flipped. The color drained from Ace's face, and as he realized what he'd done, his eyes went wide.
Very well. I admit that much. I am certainly the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceutical, Gentaro Hongo. So what if I am? I don't know anything about this Nonary game that supposedly took place 9 years ago. Everything on that scrap of paper is bullshit. Someone is trying to set me up, you see? First of all...
Ace stammered as he tried desperately to work himself to a more tenable position.
Junpei, you're claiming I did this all by myself. Think that over, all right? How could I have killed Snake all by myself?
Not Snake. It was Guy X.
I don't care who it was.
Fair enough.
You said the killer put this other man into door 3, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Then I couldn't have possibly done that alone.
But if you had the 9 bracelets, if you'd gone back to the hallway and grabbed the 9 bracelet, that would give you a digital root of 1. And you only need 3 people to do it. Where's the 9 bracelet, Ace?
I couldn't have opened door 3 with only myself and Guy X.
Nope. You could have.
Huh?
What?
Ace's face was tight, and his teeth were clenched. Junpei fixed him with a level stare. The trap was about to close.
Actually, Ace, when you were unconscious, I took something from you.
What?
Remember when you were injected with that anesthetic and fell asleep in the big hospital room? Yeah, back then, I took this.
Junpei put his hand into his pocket.
No! You couldn't have!
Ace's right hand moved. Junpei smiled.
I got you, Ace. Your right hand there tells me all I needed to know. You want to tell me what you were so worried about? What's in your pocket?
Fucking...
It's the number 9 bracelet, isn't it? Ace, Guy X, and the 9th man's bracelet. That was all you needed to open door 3.
1 + 2 + 9 = 12. 1 + 2 is 3.
That's how you killed Guy X all by yourself, Ace. All you needed was the number 9 bracelet in your chest pocket.
Ace lowered his right hand from where it had stopped, halfway to his pocket. He looked down at the floor, his face hidden from Junpei. all I could see was the corner of Ace's mouth, twitching like a dying fish.
If you want to play innocent, that's fine by me. Go ahead, tell me. I don't have the bracelet, if that's what you want to do. But if you could take off your coat and hand it to me, I'd really appreciate it. Otherwise, we'll have to take it from you by force. Right, Seven?
Yeah, it'd be my pleasure.
Seven cracked his knuckles with a sound like gunfire. Phone. I just realized. We were in the cargo bay. And Santa's not pulling out a gun. Neither am I. And neither is June. So who does that leave? Ace roared with laughter. He threw his arms wide and his head back and laughed, filling the room with a sound that scarcely belonged there. Then it stopped. His arms came down and his head dropped to look straight ahead at Junpei. Oh, hi there. His face was flat and cold, devoid of any emotion.
Well done, Junpei. As you so correctly deduced, I have the number 9 bracelet. I retrieved it while we were searching for the missing hardware for the Red. I left the room I was supposed to search and headed to the first-class cabin on B-deck.
His voice showed no emotion, no sense of remorse or interest. He was almost bored, as though he were reciting an especially dull corporate letter.
My purpose was to obtain the number 9 bracelet. 9 is a potent ally in the Nonary game. Adding 9 to any set of numbers won't alter the digital root.
9 plus 1 equals, yeah. And so on.
As you can see, 9 is a very useful number here.
9 and 0 are the most useful numbers.
With it, one can go anywhere, with anyone. It is, I suppose you could say, a game changer. So I made for the first-class cabin to obtain it. In mere moments.
See, this is why I wanted to grab it before.
I successfully acquired the number 9 bracelet. There was also an unexpected bonus. The knife the 9th man had used.
What?
I quickly pocketed both of them and left.
You killed Clover, you son of a bitch. Also, hold on. Wait a fucking second. Person who would benefit... At the first ending, when I got the knife end, and I got stabbed, that was Ace. Ace did that. But he didn't take my bracelet. He took Lotus's, which is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. With the 9 bracelet, that's 18. 1 plus 8 is 9. So, you tried to... oh my god. You tried to throw me off. You really tried to convince me Ace wasn't him. Wasn't the killer. Fuck you.
I made my way back to where I was expected to be. That's when I ran into Snake. Well, this guy X, actually. I spotted him ahead of me. He was heading for the large hospital room and hadn't noticed me. The man wearing Snake's clothes arrived at door 3. When he stopped, I walked up behind him and called out, "Snake." He turned around.
Wait a minute. If he had 9 and 1, that would give him 1. But how would Snake have been able to open door... How would they have been able to open door 3 without Snake?
He said nothing. His mouth simply hung half open. He seemed dazed somehow, almost like a man half asleep. Perhaps he had been drugged. It wasn't important. I tend to gloss over little things like that. I was certain that man was Snake. I knew Snake had taken part in the Nonary game 9 years ago. Being blind, it made sense that he didn't recognize me immediately upon our first meeting. But why then hadn't Snake said anything to me later? Surely he hadn't forgotten what had happened to him in the Nonary game. But not once did he attempt to confront me. Did his lack of sight prevent him from fully recognizing who I was? Or perhaps Snake had conspired with Zero to deceive me?
Maybe.
Regardless, he was a threat, and it was better to deal with him sooner rather than later. I had to get rid of him before he took action. With quick thinking, my plan went into motion immediately. I held the number 9 bracelet over the red. I waved my own bracelet in front of the red, and then grabbed Snake's arm and shoved his hand against the scanner panel. The door opened. I threw the man through
Whoa.
it. 9 seconds later, the door shut. 81 seconds passed.
Boom. The man inside the door passed away.
After that, I returned to my post as though nothing had happened. After conducting my own search, I returned to the large hospital room when the 1 a.m. bell rang.
Ace's eyes were cold and his cheeks were hollow and pallid. When he spoke, only his lips and tongue moved. The rest of his face was eerily still. Junpei glared at Ace. He took a deep breath and thought about the next question he had to ask. He didn't want to. He knew what the answer would be. He just didn't want to hear it. Junpei swallowed and spoke.
Ace, did you kill Clover?
Yes.
Why? Why did you kill her?
She was Snake's sister. It was possible he had told her something dangerous. Additionally, she had gone through door 1. It seemed likely she might have found it.
Found what?
Door 1.
Why don't you go through door 1 yourself? Perhaps it's hidden somewhere.
Door 1? What was in door 1?
Yeah, but Lotus and I went through door 1 too.
We didn't see anything suspicious.
Yes. I thought as much after I heard your report at the central stairs. I doubt the two of you could find it.
The Zero bracelet.
But perhaps Clover was different. Perhaps she had found it. I was, therefore, desperate to find her. And at last I did, in the first-class cabin. I spoke very calmly. Did you see it?
See what?
Don't act as if you don't understand. You were in the captain's
Yep.
quarters, weren't you?
Huh? What are you talking about?
Very well. By the way, what are you doing here, Clover?
What? Nothing.
There's blood on your shoes. It looks fresh.
She had the Zero bracelet. Ace and Clover were planning the same thing.
Did you go take a look at the 9th man's corpse? I see. Your silence suggests that you noticed. You saw something, didn't you? You saw that his bracelet was gone.
No!
Clover ran. She made for the exit, but Ace stood in her way.
You aren't going anywhere.
He caught her by the collar as she passed and he threw her to the floor hard.
You're staying here.
No!
She leapt back up and darted past him into the hallway. Ace followed at a run.
Don't you run, little girl.
He was faster.
That was how I killed Clover.
Fuck you, Ace. At least Santa didn't fucking kill anyone. If he felt guilt or remorse or anything one might feel after taking the life of another human being, it didn't show.
You son of a bitch!
Seven's whole body trembled with rage and his voice rumbled with hate. Santa's eyes were bloodthirsty and Lotus and June's face were distorted by anger and hatred. Ace looked at them and smiled. It was a cold, cruel thing with no humor in it. He shook his head and sighed.
I admit it. I've lost. I have lost. Completely and utterly. Don't misunderstand, Junpei. I didn't lose to you. I lost to Zero. Not you.
Because I put the pieces together. Fuck you.
I'm rather disgusted with myself for falling into such a simple trap. I looked the fool.
You already were the fool.
And it was a trap. Make no mistake. I was trapped and manipulated by Zero. The man I killed in the shower room, if he wasn't Snake, then I have no idea who he was. But he was wearing Snake's clothes, and that was no coincidence. He had also been injected with something that reduced his cognition and prevented him from identifying himself or resisting me. And we can't forget the components that were removed from the red before we arrived.
True.
I have no doubt that Zero planned all of this. Zero made sure I would kill that man. It follows, of course, that Zero knew everything I would do. That I would try to take the number 9 bracelet. That I would try to kill Snake. Everything.
Well then. How would he know? Suddenly Junpei remembered the paper he found in the safe. He remembered the last words Zero had written on it. I must punish them for the innocent lives they sacrificed. This is the only warning they will receive. That innocent souls may be saved, I now state the truth. Zero. And he remembered other words. Words he'd heard from Zero. Or Clover.
I think Zero is one of us.
Huh?
One by one, Junpei looked at the 5 people standing in front of him. Ace, Santa, June, Seven, Lotus.
Zero is one of us? No. Wait. There's one more person. Snake. The man who died in the shower room isn't Snake.
True.
That means he's almost certainly still alive. Maybe Snake is Zero. Maybe he made Guy X wear his clothes so that we'd all think he was dead. Where's Snake now? What if he's off somewhere laughing at us? If he is Zero, he must have been lying to us about everything else. Is he watching us?
Yeah, what is Snake doing? Well, I mean, no, he's in the coffin
Well,
for almost...
I believe I've finished with my confession. Why don't we get moving?
Yeah, he's almost certain... He's about 99% certainly in that fucking coffin. He sounded as if he'd just finished doing nothing more exciting than describing the weather. For Santa, it was the last straw.
What the hell is this shit? You aren't going anywhere, you son of a bitch! We're gonna leave your ass here to rot!
Why? Because I killed Clover?
Yes, you dumb shit.
That's ridiculous. Why are you so upset that I killed the little bitch? She was nothing to you. A stranger you only met a few hours ago. Am I wrong?
How would you shut the fuck up?
You bastard!
Seven roared and lifted a fist that would have likely shattered Ace's jaw. But someone else was faster. It was Lotus. She stepped toward Ace, a raised fist of her own, and drove it straight into his nose.
Blindsiding me with a punch, huh? You've got some fire, don't you? I confess, I rather like a tough woman.
He sniffed, wiped a small trickle of blood from his nose with a very raised eyebrow.
Well, maybe you'd like another one then.
Before that, let me give you one of my own.
Oh, shit. Huh? Lotus scarcely had time to blink. Ace snaked his arms around her and pulled Lotus's back up against him. In the same motion, he reached into his coat pocket. God fucking damn it. I knew it. It was gun, the revolver. Almost lazily, he tilted it to point at Lotus's head.
If any of you so much as blink, I won't hesitate to pull this trigger. I've already killed 3 people. Don't think I'm not ready to make it 4.
3 people? What? You didn't kill Snake. You killed Clover, and you killed that X-Man. So who was the 3rd person?
3 people? What do you mean?
The little girl who died in the Nonary game.
Very well. Let me take this opportunity to illuminate you. The person who killed the 9th man was me.
Wait.
Although I suppose to be more accurate, I encouraged him to get himself killed.
Oh.
While we were examining the main staircase, he came to me and told me his name.
What?
I recognized it at once, so I gave him a little push. Just a little white lie.
Told me his name.
It seems the settings for the dead were altered. Now it only requires a single person to deactivate the detonator in the bracelet. Investigate what's beyond door 5. We'll meet again later.
Oh.
And with that...
Okay. Have a good one, guys.
I still can't get over how dorky this guy is.
I'm going off ahead now. Well then.
Why is it stopping? God damn it! You lied! Open the door, please! I'm begging you! Help me! Please get me out of here!
I completely...
Get me out of here!
I forgot all about
Oh
this.
my god! There's no time left! Listen! I was lied to. He lied to me. He put me in here. It was him. He killed me. It was him.
I thought he was talking about Zero. Holy shit, hindsight is 2020.
I had 4 reasons for killing him.
1.
As I said before, in the Nonary game, the number 9 bracelet is of utmost importance. If I had allowed him to keep such a useful tool, he, or it, would have become a threat to me. As such, I decided that he should be eliminated early on.
Yeah, actually, he had the most important fucking thing. 2.
I wanted the number 9 bracelet.
That's just the same as reason 1.
If I could manage to obtain it, I would be able to manipulate the game as I saw fit. I would be unable to acquire the bracelet, and that's the second. Even setting aside his number,
Second reason.
he would have been nothing but trouble for me. He was aware of my past. He knew what happened here 9 years ago.
So he was either the research and development dude, or I don't know.
It was important that I eliminate him before he was able to disseminate this information.
4.
Lastly, I wished to conduct a simple test. A test to see if this Nonary game was serious, or a poor attempt at a joke. I needed to be quite sure. As such, I encouraged him to act against the rules so that I might observe the outcome.
Junpei glared at him.
I don't get your third motive. What the hell happened 9 years ago?
Didn't I say? The Nonary game was played. I planned it out, and I conducted its execution.
Why? What on earth was it supposed to do?
I don't really think I have any obligation to tell you that.
Ace smirked. He was trying to provoke them, and it was working. Damn fucking right it was working. Although Ace had paid very little attention to Lotus after catching her, the gun never wavered from her temple. She looked quite pale, and when she spoke, her voice shook.
Hey, what's with this gun? Where did he get this?
Why don't you tell her, Santa?
Santa ground his teeth and glared at
On
Ace.
the other side of door 6, we found the gun in the coffin in the cargo room, right? The bastard must have grabbed it when we weren't looking.
Indeed, I did. That was a pretty serious mistake, you know. Just saying you intended to leave it behind.
Ace laughed, a short, derisive snort, and gave Junpei a sickeningly pitying look.
Well, there isn't much time left. I'll be off then.
He has Lotus, the 9 bracelet, and him. He can get out of the 9 door.
Well, where are you going?
Do I really need to explain? I had assumed it would be obvious. I have the number 9 bracelet, and now I have Lotus.
Fuck.
Isn't there a door with a 9 on it in the room that looked like a church? That's where you're going, isn't it?
And how do you know that?
Santa told me about it while we were looking for Clover.
I see. Well, you are correct. That is my destination. But now I must say goodbye to all of you.
Wait, if he leaves, that leaves Santa, Seven, me, and June. And we already went... We can't get out. Unless we leave June behind. Fuck!
Ah, and please, don't forget my warning. Move and I'll pull the trigger. I don't need her alive to open the door, you know.
As he spoke, Ace began backing toward the door, practically dragging Lotus behind him.
Shit! He's getting away!
But we can't risk it.
Junpei, Santa, June, and Seven stood frozen. Ace had the face of a man gone mad. They had no doubt he would pull the trigger. Ace had reached the exit.
Now, Lotus, open the door for me if you would.
He forced Lotus to open it and turned and addressed them once more.
Goodbye.
Then he stepped through the door. Fuck! I knew Ace. I knew it. I fucking knew it. In the blink of an eye, they were gone.
Damn it!
As soon as Ace and Lotus were gone, Junpei and the others leapt for the door in pursuit of Ace. But as Junpei laid his hand on the doorknob... June, this is... Akane, this is no time for this. He looked over his shoulder. June was kneeling on the floor, breathing heavily.
Hey, June, what happened? Are you alright?
Your hands are fucking huge, my dude. Like, you can grab her waist, like, from under her armpit to her fucking waist with her one fucking hand. Holy shit.
Jesus, you're burning up. Your fever's back. Are you okay?
June's fever had returned again for no apparent reason. Her eyes were watery and her eyelids drooped. Her breath came in dry, shallow gasps.
I'm okay. Really, I'm fine. You should be worrying about Lotus.
She was breathing hard now, and she could barely summon the strength to talk.
But
Junpei was torn. He couldn't leave June alone in the state she was in, but every moment they waited, Ace was farther away, Lotus's life in his hands. What was Junpei supposed to do? June's eyes drifted to Junpei. She managed to muster a weak smile.
Jumpy, don't worry about me. I just need a little rest. I'll be fine. Don't you remember? I just needed to rest a little bit last time. So please, please save Lotus.
Think about what Ace has already done, Junpei. When he's got what he needs from Lotus, you really think he's just gonna let her walk away?
damn it.
Yeah, because he's the president of a corporation. If he lets her get out... Holy shit!
You guys go on ahead. Soon as June starts feeling better, we'll follow you. Go!
Junpei looked at June. She nodded once, and she couldn't manage much more. But it was all the confirmation Junpei needed. His resolve was set.
All right. Come on, Seven. We're going after Ace.
Hell yeah!
Santa, you take good care of June. I'm trusting you.
Got it.
Santa nodded. Junpei turned before he had a chance to change his mind, started running towards the door. He could hear Seven's heavy footsteps
Let's
behind him.
go.
Junpei and Seven exploded into the hallway, their feet pounding the metal floor as they ran. How's this gonna end? What the fuck? Okay. How are we gonna get out of this? We need whoever's in the coffin. We need them. That's an undisputed fact. We need them. Junpei and Seven had finally arrived at the church, exhausted and out of breath. As their lungs struggled to catch their breath, their eyes frantically scanned the room.
Where are they?
I don't see them.
You think they already went through?
He reached up to wipe a palmful of sweat from his brow.
Maybe.
Even as he spoke, Junpei was already on his way to the larger of the number 9 doors.
Let's check the red.
Vacant. Wait. Engaged.
Engaged. It's occupied.
Wait, what?
That means Ace and Lotus went through here.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Why didn't they go through the big door, though? Junpei and Seven stepped away from the door. They retreated to the center of the room and began to talk.
What do we do now?
Yeah, what should we do? Well, the big door is still vacant, but...
The two of us can't do anything with it.
Yeah, not even counting how our digital route isn't 9.
Just then, as they were pondering what to do next. The coffin again. There was a noise. A noise sounded like someone hitting a thick wooden panel.
What's that sound?
Junpei looked up, surprised. Seven followed suit, his eyes jumping around the room, looking for the source of the sound.
It's coming from over there.
It wasn't long before they found the altar. Or more precisely, what was on it.
The coffin.
Yeah.
Let's open it.
How?
By force!
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Well, you never know till you try, right? The only necessity for success is the willingness to suffer 1,000 failures.
Who said that?
I forget. Anyway, we've got to try.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, the code should be... what was it? What was the code? I mean, I don't think I need to remember, but the code was 14383421. Or maybe that was just for the safe. I don't know. But if I... Okay. If I go back to the room and open the safe then with the numbers I have now, if I can anyway, could I stop this whole thing from happening?
Damn it!
See? Didn't I tell you?
Yeah.
If you could just pull it open, why would it have something like that?
The keypad.
Right. So unless I put in the right passcode, it's not gonna open.
3, 4, 5, 6. The noise hadn't stopped. In fact, as it continued, it only gotten louder and more forceful. What were they supposed to do, Junpei wondered.
Is there some sort of clue somewhere?
Don't tell me I got it wrong again. They stood there for a few moments staring at the coffin and Seven spoke.
Hey, Junpei. I remember you mumbling about some weird numbers over by the bathroom in the first-class cabin.
Oh, thank God.
You got those numbers by solving the secret message Clover was holding, right? Truth had gone. Or Something like that.
Yeah, that's right. What about it?
Well, maybe that number's the passcode for this thing too.
Come
Hey,
on, that's
good.
impossible. Those numbers were the code to unlock that safe.
Yeah, but the person who set up that safe in this coffin is the same person, right? Zero set up both of these.
Okay, we're doing
probably.
it.
Well, then they might have set the same passcode for both of them.
That's ridiculous.
Why don't you just try it? I mean, it's not like you'll make things any worse.
True.
It'd just be a waste of time. There's no way they're the same number.
How do you know that?
Just
Never know
fucking-
until you try.
Just fucking try it, Junpei, you piece of shit.
The only necessity for success is the willingness to suffer 1,000 failures.
Who said that?
You.
Fair enough.
Fine.
He knelt down in front of the keypad and looked at it. Perhaps because he'd repeated them so many times before, the numbers came easily to Junpei's mind.
1438.
3,
3421.
Quickly, he typed them in. He checked that he'd entered the right numbers, took a deep breath, and pressed the E button. It only took a moment. Holy shit,
What?
holy shit.
You gotta be kidding me.
There was a click. And with a heavy clunk, the lid of the coffin slid off onto the floor. Someone sat up from inside. Snake!
Snake!
My dude!
You? Why?
Ah, those voices. Junpei and Seven, unless I'm mistaken. Where are the others? Are they elsewhere?
Of course, there was no reason Snake would have known anything about where anyone else would be. Junpei and Seven looked at one another. There was a great deal he needed to know, but they had to tell him something, however, so they began to talk. Snake explained to them how he came to be locked in the coffin. Apparently, he'd been hit with some sort of knockout gas, and Junpei and Seven explained what had happened to the rest of them.
I see. I believe I got the gist of everything.
It is so good to have you back, but what is up with those robes? I cannot remember. Free the soul! That's it! Free the soul! Free the soul! That's it! Why are you dressed in Free the Soul robes?
Have I been sufficiently caught up?
No, there was one thing they kept from him. There was one thing, however, that neither Seven nor Junpei could bring themselves to say. That Ace had killed Clover. They feared that if Snake knew, he might well go insane.
Yeah.
They decided as much by a look the moment Snake climbed out of the coffin.
That still doesn't explain why you were trapped in here.
We've still got no clue about Zero's true identity, let alone why the hell he's doing all this. Why did he put Guy X in Snake's clothes? Is all this stuff somehow related to that Nonary game that was played 9 years ago?
Hey, Snake, do you know anything?
Junpei put the question to Snake. His answer was less than illuminating.
What are you talking about? I apologize, but I have no idea what you're saying.
It seemed as though Snake was, perhaps, not being entirely honest. But that knowledge did Junpei and Seven little
Oh,
good.
come on, just tell us if you know.
I don't know what to tell you. How can I know something I don't?
No matter how many times they asked, he insisted that he knew nothing. It was becoming clear that Snake wouldn't give in, and every second they spent asking him was a second
This is
wasted.
bad. We're running out of time.
We need to go after Ace.
However, they stood in silence, the overpowering atmosphere of the chapel almost stifling. Wait, so we have 2, 7, 5, 6, and 3, or 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7. That's 5 people. We need 3 to 5 people to open the door. 7 and Snake, 2, 9. So 9 plus 6 is 6. Then 5 plus 6 is 11, which is the digital root of 2. Then the 3, which is a 5. So we still can't get out. Fuck. Junpei, Seven, and Snake simply stood at a loss for what they should do next.
What do we do now?
He glanced over at Snake's wrist. Sure enough, he could see the 2 on the bracelet on Snake's wrist.
The 3 of us can't make a digital root of 9.
Yeah, we just get 5.
Yeah, we would get 5. Then the 6 would make it an 11, so a 2. Yeah.
We're stuck here then.
Fuck.
Hey, I just remembered something.
Seven began patting his pockets as if he were checking to see if any of them held anything.
What?
What is it?
I found something earlier.
You have Clover's bracelet, don't you?
What did you find?
This.
He'd finally found the pocket he wanted, and his hand dove into it. Seven pulled out something round and metal. The zero bracelet. There was no mistaking the number glowing at them from the face of the cartoon eye.
Zero. Zero's bracelet.
What did you say? Are you saying that 7 has the number 0 bracelet?
Yeah.
Where did you get that?
Snake's question was innocent enough, but if he learned the truth, if he'd been able to see, he would have noticed Seven look away.
Clover gave it to me.
She did?
Yeah.
How did she come by it?
Well, she found it. See, on the other side of door 1, A deck, in the captain's quarters. She asked me to hold on to it because it was too big and bulky for her to be lugging around.
He's lying.
Junpei could tell right away that Seven wasn't telling the truth.
He even told us earlier.
I haven't actually looked at it yet. Didn't want to disturb the crime scene, you know? Basic stuff. Well, I did
He
borrow
probably
one
said that so Snake doesn't find out about Clover.
Jesus.
All right, Junpei. Been nice knowing you.
Wait, what?
You son of a bitch.
Come on, man. I'm just kidding.
Okay. Don't play me like that. You're the coolest one here.
Still, just in case, I want to make sure the zero bracelet gets picked up by the red. Snake, give me a hand, all right?
Without waiting for a response, he started walking toward the door. Junpei and Snake followed him quietly. Before long, they found themselves in front of the larger of the two doors. Seven and Snake put their palms on the red. Once they'd done that, Seven put the number 0 bracelet on the scanner panel as well. The third asterisk appeared on the screen. Now they just needed to pull the lever and the door would open. Error?
Huh? Why isn't it opening?
Well, the third asterisk lit up, so...
Wait.
It must have registered the zero bracelet.
Maybe it isn't actually 0.
Huh?
What?
That bracelet may not actually produce the number 0 when scanned.
Oh?
That is what I'm saying. Why don't we try a few different combinations? Perhaps we can determine what number that bracelet actually contains.
Oh, got it!
Junpei nodded. They decided to use the following combination. Okay, so let's see. Snake, Junpei, and 7. So Snake and 7 would be 9. So it'd be 5. So let's see if it's actually a 4.
Let's try all 3 of us and the bracelet.
14, 5.
If this combination works, then the number for this bracelet is 4.
Wait, how would you know? Oh, yep, no.
It didn't open.
Oh, okay,
Then
I
this
see.
bracelet is not 4.
Then?
Junpei continued. They decided to use... So, Snake and Junpei. So that's 7... A 2?
Let's try Snake, me, and the bracelet. If this combination works, then...
Okay. And... Error. Okay, so it's not 2.
It didn't open.
Guess it's not 2.
Then?
Junpei continued. They decided to use Junpei 7 and the bracelet. So that is... It would be a 6.
Let's try me, 7, and the bracelet.
Wait, why would it be at 6?
If this combination works, then...
Okay, so Zero's bracelet is a 6.
It opened.
Zero's bracelet is a 6. Wait. Why would it be the same number as June's?
Yes, so it would seem.
7 clearly hadn't thought their experimentation would produce anything useful, and looked rather confused. Snake was, as usual, calm and smug. But now we have 2 6s. So we have 2. Who was 3? Okay. So we have 2, 3, 5, 6, 6, and 7. So nothing I do is going to get us out of here. All of us, anyway. Junpei's forehead furrowed as he thought.
That means the bracelet is actually 6. How is that possible? The display on the bracelet clearly shows a 0.
Suddenly, from somewhere far beneath them, they heard a creak and groan of tearing metal. With it came this... It's 6 o'clock.
Oh man, that's not good. I guess our time's just about up, huh?
At any rate, we know now that the door can be opened. Let's go!
But, Snake, are you sure?
Yeah. You know that only Junpei and I can go through this way.
You needn't worry. I have a solution to this problem.
Oh, wait. So me, 7. So 7, 6, and 5. So that's that. So that leaves 6, 3, and 2.
My last resort. But if now is not the time for last resorts, then when?
Last?
Resort?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Oh. Didn't even have to fucking struggle to get to the red, or the dead. Junpei 7 and Snake ran full tilt down a long, straight hallway. Wait. How did we all get through? They were headed for the stern of the ship and had no time for distractions. As they ran, 7 spoke.
Gotta admit, you really surprised me there, kid. I couldn't figure out how the hell you were gonna get out of that one. How come you didn't do that right off the bat?
What?
As I told you, it was a last resort. Had I used it at the beginning of the game, I would have come under a great deal of suspicion.
What?
I imagine that most people would have taken it to mean that I was 0. Once they'd convinced themselves of that, I wasn't optimistic about my chances of making it out of here alive, let alone unscathed. I felt it best to play my cards close to the chest, as it were.
What did you do?
That way, if I were in a situation where there was nothing else I could do, I'd have a little trick up my sleeve. I'd just take my bracelet off.
What? Snake's plan had been simple but effective. He'd simply removed his bracelet. How? To Junpei, it looked as though Snake had simply crushed the bones of the prosthesis. Right. Of course, that would have been practically impossible, so how had he done it?
My brother's left arm
Yeah.
is fake.
He had a fake arm. Snake had slid the bracelet off and tossed it into the coffin.
I know this is kind of a weird thing to say, but I'm glad that's the fake arm.
You don't have to be afraid of the door if you don't got a bracelet.
You are correct.
He'd walked through the door easily, without authenticating. He stepped out on the other side unscathed and began running down the hallway alongside 7 and Junpei. You cheeky motherfucker. They kept running for a while longer and eventually came upon a set of stairs leading downwards on the right side of the hallway. They stopped and peered down the staircase.
I think these stairs connect to the bottom deck.
Doesn't look like it's underwater.
They nodded quickly to one another and jogged down the stairs. It only took a few moments to make their way to the bottom deck. There was a single hallway in front of them, and the end of the hall was a single
Let's
door.
go through that door.
Junpei threw it open. Inside was a massive iron gate. A plate was affixed to the top of it. Incinerator.
Incinerator?
Oh my. That doesn't sound very pleasant.
We're in an escape room? Seriously, now?
Do you see a lever near the gate, perhaps?
Yeah, right over here.
How did you know that?
Well, I'd be happy to regale you with the story. I imagine it should only take half a day or so.
Junpei grumbled, gave Snake a dirty look, and jogged over to the lever.
If you pull it, the door ought to open.
Got it.
He pulled the lever down. Yeah, how did you know about this, Snake? With the rumble of an ancient motor, the door opened. There was no need to hold back and no time to hesitate. They pushed their way inside. Standing in front of him were Ace and Lotus. Ace still held the revolver in his hand. It was still pressed hard against Lotus's temple. A small dark bruise had begun to form near the tip. Even from several yards away, Junpei could see that Lotus was shaking. She was terrified. But perhaps more interesting was what Junpei saw behind them. The actual 9 door. Another number 9 door.
What? Why? Why is there another one?
The door stopped Junpei in his tracks. It simply shouldn't have been there. As his brain finally began to consider why, the whine of a warning klaxon filled the air, drowning out any thought.
Warning. Warning. Emergency incineration command
What?
has been acknowledged. Automatic incineration will take place in 9 minutes. Please evacuate the incinerator immediately.
Oh my, how exciting. You've run quite a show here, Zero.
A terrifying smile twisted Ace's face.
What's the matter? Too frightened to understand? Here, let me explain.
It's said that the incineration system is about to activate. In 9 minutes, this room will be engulfed in flame.
Who are you?
You don't recognize me? I'm hurt. It's me, Snake.
Snake? Oh yes, you are alive. I'm afraid your bizarre style had me confused. I'm quite glad to see that you're alive.
Bullshit. Ace's voice didn't change. Snake ground his teeth.
If you don't mind my asking, how did you get here? Snake, Junpei 7. The three of you couldn't have opened a door with a 9. Did you use Clover's bracelet, perhaps?
Oh no.
What?
Ah, well, your reaction suggests that you did not.
Hold on. Why did you think we'd have Clover's bracelet?
Junpei felt his chest tighten.
Oh, they haven't told you?
Told me what?
Clearly not.
If he tries to frame it on us.
Normally, I would take some time and enjoy the moment. But I'm afraid my time is at a premium just now.
Fuck you.
I'll have to make this quick. Clover.
Don't do it, Ace! Keep your goddamn mouth shut!
Clover.
I said stop it! Don't listen to him, Snake.
Junpei could feel his voice getting hoarse, but Snake didn't listen to him.
What happened to Clover?
Ace looked at him. The corner of his mouth curled into the hook of a cruel smile.
Clover died.
The color left Snake's face. He shook his head weakly.
No, that's not true. That's impossible. It's a lie. It has to be a lie.
Oh, it's quite true. I can assure you of that. I killed her myself, you see.
What?
I'm sorry, did I stutter? I killed her.
Snake's face twisted into a mass of rage, mottled red rising to dot his pale skin. His entire body shook. He looked to Junpei disturbingly like a demon.
I would have rather she died with less suffering. A bullet in her brain, perhaps, would have been ideal. Unfortunately, that would have made quite a bit of noise. Circumstances being what they were, I was forced to settle for the knife. The one the 9th man had, you remember. I believe I caught her just below the shoulder blade. I was rather lucky, in fact. My first thrust went right between her ribs. Her flesh was so soft.
Jesus Christ, man. Have some remorse.
My knife slid in so easily. There was no resistance. That feeling was... I confess, I feel rather excited. It is a powerful memory.
Oh, when we get out of here. Oh, when we get out of here.
Someday, perhaps, I hope I can feel it again.
Incineration will begin in 7 minutes.
I'm going to kill you.
That's the right attitude to have, Snake. Snake's words were a guttural growl, barely audible.
What was that?
I'll kill you. I'll kill you.
Ah, so you're going to kill me. Please do. Come now. I'm waiting.
Don't do it! Don't listen to him, Snake!
Stop it, kid. He's screwing with your head.
Is there a problem? What are you waiting for, boy? Don't you want me to send you to join your sister?
Don't!
The
Snake!
fuck up, Ace.
Don't do it!
But Snake could no longer hear them. Snake could no longer hear anything. Snake moved like a bolt of lightning. His scream echoed through the incineration chamber, full of rage and despair.
Snake! Snake!
Fuck! Another scream filled the room. It was Lotus. She ran across the room toward Junpei, her eyes wide with terror.
Lotus! Hurry! This way!
Snake's ill-fated attack had loosened Ace's grip on her, and she'd made a run for it. She reached Seven and Junpei and ducked behind them.
Incineration will begin in 5 minutes.
Give me the woman.
Go fuck yourself. He raised the gun.
I need her. Without her bracelet, I will be unable to open this door.
1 plus... yeah.
Quickly now! I don't have time for your shenanigans.
In the center of the room, Snake's body lay eerily still. He looked like a human larva, prone and vulnerable on the floor.
I see. Then it would seem I have no choice. The rest of you must die as well. Fortunately, I have 5 bullets left. 1 for Junpei, another for Lotus, and the last 3 for that lump of idiotic man you call Seven. I will take Lotus's body with me and leave this room.
Incineration will begin in 4 minutes.
Well, it looks as though our time together is at an end.
You are a son of a bitch, you know that?
I rather enjoyed playing with you.
Damn it!
Junpei could see Ace's finger tighten. He could see it begin to squeeze down on the trigger. His body tensed, preparing for the catastrophic impact of hot lead against human flesh.
Goodbye.
Then it happened.
Kill you.
Whoa! Holy shit, he looks terrifying.
What? No, that's impossible.
For the first time, Ace's composure broke. With obvious effort, Snake lunged forward 1 step closer to Ace, then another. He looked for all the world like a zombie.
I'll kill you.
His voice was the mournful wailing of the undead.
Stay away from me. Get back. Stop. If you come any closer, I'll... Get away from me.
Little by little, Ace was retreating. Snake didn't stop. He continued his stiff and inexorable approach. His eyes twin pools of pure fury.
Listen to me. I said, don't come any closer.
Why don't you shoot him then? Waste the bullets. Oh yeah, you can't, can you? Rotten hell, you fucking bastard.
Shit! You bastard!
Ace's revolver leapt 5 times. 5 times, the air in the incinerator was split by the crack of the bullet. Snake's body twitched as 5 clouds of blood and torn flesh leapt into the air across his body. A fine pink mist drifted from his body and disappeared. Junpei didn't have time to ponder what that meant before... Keep going, Snake. And then his strength was gone. His legs crumbled and his broken and battered body slid to the floor.
Incineration will begin in 3 minutes.
Finally, you're...
You shot 5 bullets. You don't have ammo. You're fucking dead. But Snake wasn't done.
I'll kill you.
Even as the pool of blood beneath him grew, he began to move. This man is a fucking badass. He half crawled, half slid toward Ace. One bloody arm wrapped itself around Ace's leg.
You won't get away.
And the other gripped his thigh with strength that should have been long gone.
You son of a bitch! You're a monster! Get off me! Let me go, damn you!
He kicked at Snake with his free leg, driving his foot into Snake's face, his arm, and his shoulder. It made no difference. Snake refused to release him. Once a snake has ensnared its prey, rarely does it release it.
This is it, Ace. We're going to burn to death together. What?
Incineration will begin in 2 minutes.
Yeah, damn it! Damn you! Get off! Let me go, you monster!
Who's the monster here, you piece of shit?
Okay, look. Think about it this way. My company owns a wonderful hospital. It has excellent doctors. You're not wounded too seriously. I'm sure they can fix you up easily. You don't have to die. You could be saved. Just let me go.
Pathetic. Begging for your life.
Then Seven and Lotus began to speak. Junpei could hear tears in their voices, tears in their voices, and their words were strained.
Snake, that's enough! You can stop now!
Yes! He's right, Snake! You've done enough!
Come on, Snake, let's go! Let's get out of here!
You have to come with us! We have to leave together!
What about Santa and June? What about them? We don't have enough time. Snake turned toward them. He coughed and blood splattered across the floor. Then he smiled a sad sort of smile.
I apologize, but I'm afraid I can't do that. You'd best forget about me. You need to leave soon. I'm going to take him with me.
Shut up! Be quiet!
I couldn't save Clover. My sister died because of me.
No, she didn't die because of you.
Perhaps this will begin to atone for that. Perhaps in the afterlife, she can forgive me. Now go. Go now. You have to go.
Incineration will begin in 1 minute.
What numbers do we have? We have 7. We have 15, 6, 5. Do we have enough? We have Junpei. We have Zero Bracelet, which is 6. We have Lotus, and we have 7. 15, which is 6. And 11, which is a 2. We need one more.
God damn it! Shit! We're out of time! We gotta go!
7 ran towards the exit. Lotus followed him. But Junpei couldn't move. There were white lines down Snake's cheeks where his tears had washed the blood away. He was broken, body and soul, and Junpei felt as though half his own heart had been torn out. His eyes stung, and he tried desperately to swallow to clear the lump in his throat.
Junpei, what are you doing? You have to get out of here now!
Junpei's chest tightened, pulled taut by anger, misery, and a cold feeling of emptiness. Pure emotion surged through his heart alongside the torrent of blood. He could feel it building, a tremendous wave growing taller and taller and taller. Then it broke, crashing down with a thunderous force onto his shaken, unprepared mind.
Snake! Snake!
Junpei's rational mind was gone. He was driven by instinct now, and he launched himself across the floor at Snake and Ace. Or he tried to.
Wait! Don't be an idiot, Junpei!
He felt his hand grab him from behind. It was 7. Before he had time to react, the larger man had pinned Junpei's arms to his side and was hauling him bodily toward the door.
No! No! I have to help Snake! Snake! Get off of me! Let me go!
Junpei, you can't help him.
Incineration will begin
Just
in
fucking go.
10 seconds. 7, 6.
Damn it, I don't get a choice, kid! Don't blame me for this, alright? No.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Gates 2 and 3 are locked down, beginning incineration.
Junpei felt Seven's fist bury itself deep in his stomach, and then his legs turned to mush. Seven scooped him up in the same motion and leapt through the door. It slammed shut behind them. Junpei struggled to shaky feet. He glanced over to see Lotus a short distance away. Junpei ran to the door.
He's...
There was a small window cut into it. Inside, he could see Ace and Snake.
Shit! Damn you all! Why? Why?
I said it once, and I'll say it again. Burn in hell, you bastard.
Why me? I don't deserve this! Answer me! Answer me, Zero! Why? Why? Zero! Zero! Zero!
He didn't know how much time passed. He didn't know how long he stood there in front of the incinerator. He looked to the side. Lotus's face was ashen, and if not for the hand she'd put up against the wall, Junpei didn't think she could have stood. Seven looked old, tired, and used. His eyes stared at the floor, seeing nothing. Junpei said nothing. He simply began to walk toward the open door in the hallway they'd come down earlier.
Hey, wait! Junpei!
Junpei, where are you going?
He blinked when their voices broke the silence. He stopped.
You stay here. I'll go get Santa and June.
You're gonna bring them here?
How?
Don't worry about that. Just stay here and wait, all right?
He began to walk again. He looked over at his shoulder and watched Seven Lotus grow smaller and smaller. They stared back, not moving. He wasn't sure if they could. He turned around again. He knew where he was going.
I saw an elevator on the way here. If I can get it to work, then maybe...
Before long, Junpei found himself in front of the elevator. Next to the door was a button with a triangle on it.
Please work.
He pushed it and the door opened. So if I can get one group of 9 through, everyone's okay. Junpei was in the large hospital room.
June! Santa!
He kept calling and walked to the center of the room. Where are they? But try as he might, he couldn't find them.
Damn it. Where did they go?
Increasingly frustrated and increasingly worried, Junpei left the large hospital room. He had no choice. He would have to look for them. Junpei's heart was heavy. He couldn't shake the feeling, but there was a part of him that felt like it would be wrong to, even if it could. With every step he took, his legs felt more and more like lead. Where are you guys? Where are they? Guys? Where are you? They're in the chapel, aren't they? Sometime later, Junpei found himself at the chapel. He stepped inside expecting to find nothing. But there on the red carpet in the center of the room... June! No, code names didn't matter any longer. She was Kane.
Connie!
Connie. Junpei cried her name, then ran. Like lightning, he ran across the room toward her.
Connie!
He stumbled to a stop. As he looked down at her body, lying so still on the floor, he felt the icy grip of fear upon his heart. She was still. So very still.
No. It can't be. It's impossible.
Fucking... What the hell? Where's Santa? His hands shook and he felt very ice cold and very hot at the same time. He forced himself to look. Her back was moving. Slowly arose and fell. Okay. Relief washed over him.
Connie!
Junpei reached down and gently, very gently, lifted her up.
Connie, are you all right?
Jumpy?
Her face was pale and her lips were dry and cracked. Her eyes were blank and cloudy. They stared straight at Junpei but saw nothing. Trembling, Junpei wrapped his arm around her back. She was cold, very cold. Junpei tried to convince himself that it was only his imagination, but she felt as though she was fading away. She could feel his heart pounding frantically in his chest.
Oh man. Connie, what the hell happened to you? You feel...
Jumpy, I'm sorry.
For what?
I might not make it.
Not this time. You didn't get stabbed. You're okay. Promise. I swear. You're okay.
No way. No way I am going to let you die. I am going to save you. I promise.
Thank you, Jumpy. Thank you so much for everything. I was really happy to see you again, Jumpy.
This is the same conversation.
Really happy.
Oh, don't give me that I was crap. You're gonna see me again lots more times. You just gotta hang on, all right, Connie?
Jumpy, did you know you meant a lot to me when we were kids?
Fuck.
I've liked you for a long time, Junpei. A really long time.
Junpei's vision had gone blurry. It took him a moment to realize his eyes were filled with tears. He could feel a piercing point of heat deep in his heart like a white-hot flame. He looked down at Akane. What? There was a crack of static from above his head and a voice spoke.
Zero. You son of a bitch! Where are you hiding?
Junpei frantically scanned the ceiling for the source of the voice. What?
What the hell are you talking about? No. No, it hasn't. I'm not gonna let it end yet. I'm gonna get out of here with Connie. Why?
Because you chose the wrong path.
The wrong path?
That is correct. Your path is inevitable, however. Admit defeat.
Fuck you.
Where there is shadow, there is light. Where there is the absence of light, there is no shadow. So it goes.
What are you talking about?
That is not. The loser has been decided.
I told you! I am not gonna lose!
No, you misunderstand. You have lost. I have lost.
What?
What?
Junpei didn't have time to ponder what that meant before. He heard the door slam shut behind him. He spun around. There was no one there. Was it Zero?
Connie, wait here. I'll be right back, I promise.
She managed a single nod. Junpei laid her back down gently and leapt for the door. He yanked it open and shot outside. No one. The hall was empty. There was nothing moving anywhere.
Damn it. Where are you? It doesn't matter. I need to get Connie out first.
He didn't want to leave Connie out alone any longer than he had to, so Junpei turned around and headed back for the chapel. You son of a bitch.
Connie!
She wasn't there. She wasn't anywhere. She'd been lying there on the floor just moments before. And now she was gone.
Oh God. No. No. Where is she? Connie. Connie! Connie!
Why'd you take her?
Connie!
His cry split the heavens themselves. He screamed until his voice gave out. Then he screamed some more. But there was nothing. No answer. His voice faded away and all that remained was cold, unfeeling silence. That was when he noticed it.
Huh?
A strange smell. One he'd smelled before.
Wait. This is...
Fuck.
Smoke.
9 seconds later, Junpei's mind winked out. What the fuck was that? The end, or is it? Chance of loss is not 0. Seek a way out. Seek a door that carries a 9. April 4th, 1912, the Titanic sank. Bourdain, Alice. Who do you think did it? Now it is time. Let our game begin.